Welcome to SharpenTheHustle.com podcast with Jesse Miller. We're working hard as a given, but results are how we measure success. We interview successful business owners that'll help you sharpen your hustle.
Welcome, everybody, to SharpenTheHustle.com podcast. I'm here with Alida Mcdaniel, and she's got an incredible story. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Alida, why don't you introduce yourself?
So my name is Alida. I am an intuitive life strategist. It's a fancy way of basically saying that I use nutrition, holistic practices, and also clairvoyance and mediumship to help my clients really clarify their life purpose and facilitate that process.
That's incredible. So let's talk about your story. How'd you land doing this with your life?
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So it's been kind of a process. In 1999, March 15th, I walked into the doctor for cold and flu symptoms, and the doctor tried to write me a prescription for an antidepressant. He was actually the third doctor that tried to give me the same prescription over the course of about 10 years. And I really kind of woke up to the fact that I was a food addict. I was addicted to, sugars and fats and things that would numb me. And I was also obese. I was battling with my weight. I had a 20-year battle with obesity. And on top of that, I had chronic illnesses. So I had chronic bronchitis, fibromyalgia, Epstein-Barr, chronic fatigue syndrome. And all of these things, just kind of came to a head when he gave me that diagnosis. And I thought, I've been trying to find my way. I've been trying to find my path, but this is just not going to work for me. So let me go to culinary school. Let me figure out how to make the foods that I'm addicted to healthy for me, in hopes that would give me the solution, that would give me the answer. But when I was in culinary school, there was this one moment, and I laugh about it now because it's really funny to me now, but I was running down the stairs in my dorm room, in my dorms, and I remember hearing this horrible sound, and it was the slapping of my thighs. And I dropped dead in my tracks. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope nobody hears me, But it was in that moment that it kind of really woke me up to basically say, look, if you're going to go out and you're going to go make these foods healthy for you, you can't just go out and make healthy food, but not help other people. You've got to go walk the talk. And it flashed back to me, all of those adults and all those people who are always the do as I say, not as I do kind of people. And I was like, I don't ever want to be like that. So it was in that moment that I really, took my health into my own hands. I started really learning about nutrition, about fitness. And then after I graduated with my second degree, I really jumped in headfirst into really spa cuisine, meditation, yoga, and all that kind of stuff. And I was only in the culinary industry for about 2 years. I worked my way up to my perfect job. And I was like, you know what? I need the hands-on stuff. And I walked into Gold's Gym. I said, hey, this is my before and after picture. And they hired me on the spot. And I've been doing this for 13 years now with personal training, healthy cooking classes, life coaching, spirituality coaching. Everything to me is like a cohesive program, because you can't have fitness in your physical body if your emotional or your mental state are out of whack. So I've been partnering all these pieces up from day one, because I had to use all those tools in order to lose the weight and really come to grips with who I was.
Yeah, I love that. I love how it started very practical, and as you progressed and uncovered layers, you realized that, okay, there's more to this picture that has to be dealt with. Let's talk a little bit more about that. So once you uncovered that first layer, you got a little bit healthier. Let's talk through some of those progressions.
Yeah. Okay. So when I started experimenting with food, I started looking back on those 20 years. I was one of those people that tried every diet. And so I would try them for the sake of a quick fix. I didn't do it for the sake of being healthy. I didn't do it for the sake of taking ownership of how my emotional state was affecting my physical state. And so when I decided to lose the weight once and for all, I made a vision board, because it wasn't just about the quick fix. It was about the lifestyle that I needed to program myself to have. And so every single day I would look at my vision board and I would say, okay, if this is a life that I'm looking to have, what action steps do I need to take today that will help align me to that? And so that was how I would choose my food, or how I would choose my meditation, or how I would choose my workout. Everything was a constant calibration. And then during that point, I was reading a ton of personal growth and development books, people like Wayne Dyer, Thich Nhat Hanh, Jerry and Esther Hicks, and a lot of those things, and Napoleon Hill. And they were all telling me that, my mindset was really the thing that was standing in my way. And so I remember looking at myself one day in the mirror, and I read something where it basically said, think about the words you use to yourself on a daily basis. That internal dialogue, if you ever said it to yourself, you'd have a conniption. Like you'd never believe those words are leaving your mouth. So I remember looking at myself one day in the mirror, and I made eye contact, which I never did before. And I said, I fucking hate you. And it was in that moment I burst out into tears, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I can't believe these are the things I've been telling myself every single day.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was in that moment that I thought, okay, you know what? I can change this. So I started thinking about, okay, now if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, what can I tell myself to really push harder, to really drive deeper, to really go inside and figure out, like, why am I still hating on myself so much? And it was during that time when Adidas came out with that really killer marketing campaign where it said, I'm possible. And I put that up in my bathroom every single day so that I could see it, to remind myself, I'm possible, I'm possible. And it really gave me kind of that jolt to look back on the course of my life and think about how many times I stepped on my own toes, how many times I stood in my own way, how many opportunities I squandered because I was so afraid that people would see how miserable I was inside. And it was easier for me to just make myself sick and, create some sort of illness than it was for me to face my strength and face my courage. So it started with the food, the vision board, and really getting my mind right and wrapped around, the tools that I needed to help support me to continue that lifestyle growth.
That's so cool. That's incredible. So what would you tell to somebody that if they looked in the mirror, they'd say the same thing? What would you tell them today? How do they get out of that position? I know you talked about how you got out of it, but talk to them directly. What do they need to do right now to end that dialogue?
First step is to celebrate yourself. We don't do that enough. One of the tools that I actually teach my clients is to actually look at themselves in the mirror at least once a day and acknowledge their successes, even if the success was waking up without pushing the snooze button, right? Acknowledge at least 3 things that you are successful every single day in. And when you start doing that, because the brain will look for ways to validate your belief systems, if you're so focused on how weak and miserable you are, but you start changing your focus to how powerful and strong you are, and you start celebrating those successes each and every day, what you're going to find is you're going to look for new avenues to succeed. Because at the end of the day, you feel so proud of looking at yourself in the mirror and acknowledging these things that you're going to want to do more and more and more and more and more of it. So that's one thing. And then another thing too that I teach my clients is that in that same mirror technique, when you first wake up in the morning, say 3 things that you're thankful for. And this is where people get stuck, because most people are like, no, I can't do that. I just, and there's 100% resistance. But even if it's something to the effect of, I'm a good listener, right? I'm a great friend. I'm a good sister. I'm a great brother, right? Whatever it's going to take, you've got to start acknowledging your strengths, because you've got to start wiring your brain to focus on the positive things, the positive attributes that you have and that you possess, because those are the things that you're going to be delivering to the world as your gift, as your authentic message.
That's incredible. It's gratitude and hatred, self-hatred can't exist in the same spot. So I love that. That's such a practical way to do it. And I know a lot of the response I get when I'm leading people into something that they're not comfortable with is they're fearful about it. And I don't feel it, so it's not authentic. And the reality is who we are inside. When we speak that out, it does literally connect us at the deepest level with it. And if you can look in your eyes and tell yourself something positive and you focus on that, I love that train of thought that it brings to the individuals that we work with. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I think when we're understanding the the body as a vibrational creation, a vibrational organism. A lot of people don't talk about this because it's not a very well-known thing. But Dr. Masaharu Emoto in Japan did some experiments, the water experiments. You can look these up on YouTube. And what he found is that you can set an intention to water. Well, if you think about these intentions that you're speaking to yourself or you're speaking out into the world, this story that you're carrying, your water inside of your body is the conduit that charges your cells. And if I'm a failure, I'm never going to amount to anything, I'm ugly, I'm fat, right? I'm unlucky. You're energizing your body with these intentions every single day, right? So, on top of that, what a lot of people don't know also is that when you feel or experience an emotion, your brain creates a chemical response to that emotion that shuttles into the body, it shuttles into your cells, and your cells get like this quick little burst of that emotion. Well, over time, we start becoming addicted because now the cells are replicating only to receive that emotion. And so now our body is literally programmed, right, by energy and by cellular attraction for these toxic emotions. So when it comes down to change feels counterintuitive because our body is literally hardwired for that negativity. So we've got to understand, it's not going to feel authentic at first, and it's going to suck, and you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself, but you've got to understand you're lying to yourself by playing small. So,
awesome.
right?
So
So you take one step forward and one step forward and one step forward, and eventually you're going to be running.
That's so cool. So let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's talk about your process when you deal with a client. Where do you typically start the interaction, and where's your goal to lead that client or help them uncover? And I'm sure there's different levels of engagement that you have, but I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of my clients come to me for weight loss, or they come for, food addictions, or they come just because their life just is in kind of disarray. My goal, my ultimate goal is always the same with every single person. I believe that we are all living a very limited existence, meaning our ego is running the show. And I can speak to somebody with the assumption that, well, they're broken. I'm going to talk to their broken pieces. But that's me having sympathy and a pity party, and I'm dragging myself down with them, and that's not really going to help them. So my first work with them is to look for the potential. I believe that if I can see their potential and I could talk to their potential in every single session, I can help them to feel that vibration, right? Because if their body is a vibration, I can constantly plant those seeds of potential and help them to feel what that potential would feel like if they were able to live in it fully every single day. So while we may talk about food, I have them track their food. We actually have an app, a HIPAA compliant system now. They can track their food. We track emotions. What are your emotional triggers? Why are you being triggered to eat this food? Or why are you being triggered to go out and drink? Why are you being triggered to binge on Netflix all day when your goal is sitting there waiting for you to take action on it? So we go into the tracking because I think tracking is huge. Another thing that we talk about too is resistance, because a lot of people have resistance that they don't even know exists, right? So I've got a lot of clients who come to me because they actually want to be a coach, and they see me. I've been doing this for 13 years. They want to be like me, but they've got no clue in what direction they're going. So I have to tell them, look, straightforward, you have to tell me where you want to be in 10 years. And they don't know where, they don't know how, because they're so focused on making everybody else's dream a reality, so focused on people pleasing, that they don't know how to get clear on what they really want from their life. So one of the things that I do with them is I basically say to them, what beliefs do you carry about feeling worthy in having that ultimate potential? Right? Because maybe you're afraid that, working hard means that you have to work a certain amount of hours for a certain amount of dollars per hour, right? But what if, you could dream a little bit bigger? So what beliefs stand between you and that potential reality? Another thing too is, what fears do you have that might limit you? Because many people believe, well, if I have it, it's going to get taken away. If I know myself, I hear this a lot. I know myself, I know I'm going to give up soon anyway. So, why even try? So I work on really getting clear on those fears so that we can reprogram them. I don't like to go a lot. I got trained. I got like 7 different certifications in with one organization at one point that was heavily based on clearing limiting beliefs. And one of the things that I found was like, you can clear beliefs all day long, but if you don't change the behavior, you don't modify the actions, nothing's going to change. So I'm huge from day one, modifying behavior, modifying action, as well as modifying the beliefs.
Yeah, to me, if you identify a limiting belief and you don't help them take action on it, you're severely underserving clientele. And that could be, there's no point clearing it if you don't give them any hope after that, because then it just makes a bigger void. And then what they think they've dealt with it, but they really haven't. So that's incredibly valuable. I love that. And that's a lot of what it comes back to. To me, if you have 10 limiting beliefs, we're not going to take all of those on at once. We're going to highlight the one that's going to create the biggest effect, get momentum, and then lead to that next one. That just leads to that domino effect. So that's incredibly valuable. I'd love for you to speak to some of the people that want to be coaches, but just aren't sure how to communicate or exchange the value in what a coach does. What would you tell a young coach starting out that wants to build a practice?
Such a good question. Many coaches, and I think therapists do this as well, they want to go out and change the world because they feel like they need to be saved. And so they want to go out and help other people with the very same things that they haven't resolved within themselves. So my advice to new coaches always is, how do you want to impact? Think about how you want to impact others and do that first for yourself. Because the way that you do it for yourself, the information that you gain, the wisdom that you gain is going to be the foundational tools that you share with your coaching clients. So that's first and foremost, is basically getting clear on that message and then doing it for yourself. And then another thing too is, don't get so wrapped up in the belief that you have to please everybody, right? Because people pleasing is the reason why you got stuck in the beginning, right? Why you're stuck here. So you've got to understand that your unique message, if you can learn to be unapologetically authentic, despite the fear and the doubt that might be creeping in, you have to find a way to be so authentic that the people that you attract into your life and into your practice are exactly vibing and resonating with your message. And you don't have to like fight to get clients. You rarely have to sell and market yourself, because if your message is so authentic and all you're doing is just doing what you do, people are like, look, I've been watching you and I've been stalking you on Facebook for about a year now, and I don't say anything and I don't like your comments, but I'm so ready to like work with you. It's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks.
Hey, let's do it.
You know?
Time to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, I call it drinking your own Kool-Aid for the first one. You got to drink your Kool-Aid. And the second one, I almost like repulsion marketing more than attraction marketing, because if you're pushing people away, your message is so clear that people can see you for what you are, and they know if they're supposed to interact with you or not. So I
Amen.
love that. Awesome,
Yes.
awesome value in that.
Yeah, so true. And I think, where a lot of new coaches get stuck is belief that they have to know it all. I'm a firm believer that there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is, I'm a very spiritual person. I studied comparative religions for the last 15 years. So, when we look at the Bible, right, we have Adam, and from a rib became Eve. Well, if we look at that from a place of knowledge and wisdom, right, we have a ton of knowledge. We've got a full body of knowledge, but from that knowledge, we take one tiny piece and we evolve into a completely different form. And if we look at that just as a metaphor for how we are growing, we've got to understand all the knowledge in the world will not make you a good coach. Yep. It's listening. It's letting your clients speak. It's hearing what they're not saying. It's not understanding based on your own logic and your own reason.
Yep.
It's trying to help them uncover their own answers and their own solutions. So, new coaches, like, if you're listening to this, you don't have to have all the answers. It's just learning how to ask bigger and better questions and listening deeper.
Yeah. I love to say that a lot of the value that we bring doesn't come in an informational exchange. If you're looking for a coach to teach you wonderful, beautiful things, it's not what we do. What we do is we pull out the crap that you tell yourself, and we show you that it is a piece of crap, that you're believing something that's not real. And we believe in who you are so much that we see your potential instead of looking at you like you are today. I love what you do. It's so incredibly valuable.
Thank you.
Where's your business headed over the next little bit? What do you see as the future?
For me, I'm looking at doing a lot more speaking, working on some programs. Actually, I've got a couple different contacts in different countries. I would like to bring my program to other countries as well. I'm working on an online academy where I'm going to be offering all the courses and things that I work with my clients, but in a more condensed version for, so more people can access my programs, because obviously not everybody can afford to work one-on-one with me. And then I'm actually working on a 1-year coaching program for new coaches, because I'm getting bombarded with all these people. And I think it's just time to really give them, the necessary tools, not just to go out and coach other people, but to learn how to coach themselves.
That's so cool. That sounds like it's going to be incredibly valuable. So
thank you.
Man, very neat. So let's, the last question I love to ask, if you had no resources, no relational resources, no established relationships that are valuable, no financial resources, what would you do if you were set back to that place? What would you do today if that was the case in your life?
I would stand on a corner and I would put up a sign that said free hugs. Because what that does, and I've actually done this, not it from a broke state, but I actually was participating in a lot of this with a group called the Love Mob out in LA. And we would have just, organized acts of love. And I remember this one day where I held up this sign that said free hugs, and this guy walked up and he said, are you serious? Like, really? And I said, yeah. And I get the chills thinking about it. And he said, because right now I don't know what to do with my life. My friend just killed himself. And I feel like I just need someone to just be here for me. My passion is loving on people. I just honestly want to just love on people. And I want people to feel how powerful they are. And if all I can do is just love on people, my life is complete.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about the fitness aspect of what you do. Do you guys own a gym at this point, right?
We do. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So do you guys do personal training? You do martial arts there as well? Or is it just personal training or fitness? What can you talk a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So War Dance Training is my fiance's brand. And he's had it for probably, I would say 79, about 10, a little over 10 years. And we moved into a new location where we expanded the brand. We now have Mind Soul Fit OC. So we do personal training. We have classes, boot camps. We do yoga, Pilates, meditation. We do workshops. We have kids classes. We don't have like the traditional martial arts, but we do have a couple Muay Thai classes. And we have the actual traditional boxing and kickboxing. So we actually host events twice a year called Fashion Fight Fiasco, where we have our clients and then clients from neighboring gyms come in. They do exhibition fights. We have a fashion show with local brands. And Mind Soul Fit OC is really kind of an umbrella for holistic practitioners. So under that umbrella now, we do the nutritional, we do the life coaching. We also have in-house chiropractic and massage as well, and meal prep for those who want it. And then as we expand the Mind Soul Fit OC brand, it's actually going to be a full-blown network. We're starting with OC, then expanding to LA, then all of California, where people can literally just come, type in, all their answers to an assessment, and then we will basically give them the contact information to the providers that match their needs. So we're working on that. That's kind of like our 10-year goal. Awesome. To really just expand into that massive network, because we're really about collaboration over competition. We don't care about competing with anybody else, because we know, like you and I have discussed, like I'm not selling my results, I'm selling myself. Yep, and so, that's really what we're all about. It's such an amazing family environment, and we've got clients who drive over an hour just to come work out with us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
If people want to know more about you or connect with you, where are the best places for them to find you?
So you can find me on ambassadorforgoodness.com. mindsoulfit.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Anywhere you type in Alida Mcdaniel, you will find me. I'm also on Snapchat, pretty much on every social media platform there is.
Awesome.
Yeah. put myself out there.
I encourage you guys to reach out to her if you have questions about coaching, or you just realize that you need to improve your health and lifestyle. Alida is a great resource, so feel free to reach out to her. I'd love for you to connect. She offers incredible insight. Alida, thank you for being with us on sharpenthehustle.com today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
You've been listening to sharpenthehustle.com podcast with Jesse Miller. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show, or to listen to past episodes, check out sharpenthehustle.com.